Hi, and welcome to BremSter Puzzles, a channel where I try and showcase the fun that can be had in the world of variant Sudoku. And today I'm going to be doing that with a puzzle called Crisscross by Nicolas Duhail. And this is a setter I've not seen before. And this puzzle was recommended to me as mostly because new setter, and it's always good to encounter new puzzle creators. And this is a very pretty grid, and it's using constraints that we're familiar with. So hopefully this will be something that we can really get our teeth into. So let's get straight into the rules. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. Then we've got box borders divide each blue line into segments with the same sum. So the box borders are the thick lines, and it means that, for example, if we were to look at this blue line, this is one segment of the blue line, and this is a different segment of the blue line, and the digits on each segment will have the same sum. So if we were to add these three digits together, they will have the same sum as that one digit added, just the one digit. So that's just the way that works. The sum of those is the same as the sum of that one digit. So that's those. Whoops, I just meant to delete the colors. And then along green lines, adjacent digits differ by at least 5. So those two digits will have a difference of at least 5. Those two digits will have a difference of at least 5, as will those, as will those. Any two cells directly connected by a green line have a difference of at least 5. That's all of the rules on this puzzle. I'm going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Pardon me. There is, of course, a link below to where you can attempt this puzzle for yourself. Let's give this a shot. So, to me, the most obvious place to start is on these blue lines. The minimum I could put into those three cells would be 1, 2, and 3, but it's actually not. I'm going to get to that in a second, but the minimum I could put into those would be 1, 2, and 3, making this 6, 7, 8, or 9. But I can't put 1, 2, 3 into those because of this line. Now, why do I know that? Okay, first of all, let's talk about some properties of German whisper lines. If you know all of these, then you can probably skip about 30 seconds. So you could never put 5 onto a German whisper line because you couldn't put anything next to it. In order to have a difference of at least 5, I'd have to add 5 or more or subtract 5 or more. If I add 5 or more, I'm at 10 or higher, outside the range of Sudoku digits. If I subtract 5 or more, I'm 0 or less, outside the range of Sudoku digits. So you can never put 5 on a German whisper line. So every digit's either going to be below 5 or above 5. Now, if I put a digit below 5 on the line, perfectly valid, I can't put another digit below 5 next to it because the maximum difference is 3. 1 and 4, the two furthest apart digits, have a difference of 3. So next to it, I would need to put a digit above 5. I can't put two digits that are above 5 next to each other because, again, the maximum difference is 3 between 6 and 9. So if anything between a digit above 5 has to be below 5. And as you move along these lines, you're always going to alternate high, low, high, low, high, low, which means 2 of these digits must be below 5, because if this is low, this is high, this is low, and this is high. And if this is high, this is low, this is high, this is low. So whichever way we go, 2 of these digits must be below 5. So I can't use 3 digits below 5 on this line. So the minimum I could put on this line, it would be 5 and then 1, 2, because I can't use 3 digits below 5. So if I use a 5, I could then use 2 digits below 5, which means 5, 1, and 2, the minimum this could be is 8. And the same is true on this line. This has to be an 8 or a 9 because 2 of these digits must be low. So I can't put 3 low digits on here. The minimum I could do is 5 with 1, 2. This is an 8 or a 9. And because one of these must contain a 5, I think I must put a 1 on each of these lines, because if I don't, the minimum would be 5, 2, 3. So these must contain 1, which means there's no 1 on these German whisper lines. But this is now an 8, 9 pair, which because of these means this is a 6, 7 pair, because the same thing applies here. These must be 3 different digits, and therefore the minimum is 1, 2, 3 or 1, 2, 4. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason I know that is one of these is 1, 2, 3. because 6 can only be done with 1, 2, 3, and 7 is 1, 2, 3 with one digit increased by 1, and the only digit I can increase without doing a duplication is the 3 to a 4. So each of these has 1 and 2 on it. So the low digit on one of these is the 3, and on the other is the 4. Right. And this is a low digit because it can't be 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are the high digit, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm just putting them all in. I can see that they're not that. These are the 1, 2, 3, 4, but they have to be 3 and 4, which means these have to be 8 and 9 because these can't be 1 and 2 because the 1 and 2 is needed for the line. And the 3 can go next to 8 or 9, but the 4 can only go next to the 9. So now I get 8, 9 pairs in these rows, but these now must be the low digits. So let's color high-low. I'm just going to start coloring high-low because there's a lot of high-low going on because these must be high. All of these must be low. And I use yellow for high and blue for low because there's a lot of contrast between those. Now, because I've got 3 high in this row, these can't also be high, or I'd need 5 digits above 5, and there's only 6, 7, 8, and 9. So these are low digits, which do not include 1. So these are from 2, 3, 4. This one can't be a 4, because if this was a 4, the only digit that is 5 away from 4 is 9, and both of those would need to be a 9. So that's a 2 or a 3, but these are high digits. And they can't be 6. They're 7, 8, 9, because a 6 can only go next to a 1. And I can't put a 1 on that line. But the same is true up here. These have to be low. And they can't be 1, so they're 2, 3, 4. This can't be a 4, so it's a 2 or 3. These are high digits. And they're 7, 8, 9 because I can't put a 1 in any of those. But with this being a 2, 3, oh, this is low because I've got the 4 high digits. This is low. So this is low, which means this is low and this is high. But I'm not sure that what that's doing for me. Now there's a 1. I put 1 in one of those two. Why? I'm not sure why I restricted 1 to those. Isn't 1 restricted to the arrow somewhere? And I did the same here. Was that a mistake? There doesn't have to be a 5. I could do 1, 2, 6 on that. Oh, this can't be low because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 here. So this isn't low. So it can't be a 1. 1 isn't, I don't know why I removed 1 from, I think that might have just been bad pencil marking. But this is low, which means this can't be low. So this has to be 5 or 6. It can't be higher than 6 because if it was higher than 6, it would be 7. And then I'd need these to sum to no more than 2. And there's no way of doing that. But these must be low. You need 2 low digits on any arrow that sums to no lower than 9 or no higher than 9. Because if I don't use 2 low digits, then the other 2 digits on it would be a minimum of 5, 6, which is 11. The 2 digits that weren't low. So these must be low digits. And that's all of the low digits here. So these are from, well, this is 1, 2, 3, or 4. And it can't be 4 because the minimum these would sum to would be 9. There's no 4 there. These are 5, 6, and 7. I don't know why I took the 1 out of here. That feels like a mistake, but I've put them back now. But, oh, that's the 5 because it can't be a low digit, which means this isn't the 5 and that's a high digit. So these are low digits. which gives, right, because of the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, once I get this 5, these are 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's all 4 low digits. So this can't be a low digit. It's not a 1. That's all 4 low digits here as well, but this can't be a low digit. So this is 5 or 6, and these are low digits, and neither of them can be 4. Because if I put a 4 into either of those, yeah, the same is this. Where's the 4 in this box as well? I can't put a 4 on the line because the minimum would be 4 to 5. This would have to be a 0 to keep this as a 9. This is the 4, which makes this the 9, taking 9 out of here. And in this box, I can't put a 4 on the line with something that's a 5 or a 6 because otherwise I blow the total. So this is the 4, this is the 9, this is not the 9. This 9 is really powerful. It makes that the 8 and that the 9, which means this is the 8. Which means that can't be a 4 because it'd be only 4 apart. That's the 3. The 8 looks down, making that the 9, which makes that the 4. And that is needed because one of these needs to be 6 and one of these needs to be 7. They had to be different because this is the 1, 2, 4 now, which sums to 7. And this is the 1, 2, 3, which sums to 6. This is really cool. This isn't a 4 or a 3. This is a 1 or a 2. Now this is 1, 2, or 4. If that's a 4, this can't be a 4. If this was a 4, this would have to be a 9, and it can't be. So this is a 1, 2 pair, making that a 4, and this is a 1, 2. And these are 3 and 4, and the 4 looks up, making that the 3 and that the 4. The 3 looks down saying that's not the 3. These are 1, 2, 3, but these sum to 8. So it has to be 1, 2, 5, the absolute minimum, because 1, 2, 5 sums to 8. So this is the 5, and these are 1, 2. This is now the 3, which can't go next to 7. They're only 4 apart. That's the 8. These are the high digits, which are 6 and 7. And the 7 is looking up, making that the 6 and that the 7. 6 is now in one of those two by Sudoku. This is a 5, 6 pair by Sudoku, in fact. And the 1, 2 is looking down, making this 3. This puzzle is beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are 7 and 8, which are both high digits, but the 7 is looking down, making that the 8 and that the 7. The 7 is looking across, making that the 6. This is a 1 or a 2, but this sums to 9. I still could do 1, 2, 6 or 1, 3, 5. I'm not sure which way that's going to go yet. But I haven't done these lines. This is 6, 7 or 8. And this, not sure. 3 is absolutely in one of those two. These are the high digits. No, they're not necessarily. This could be a 6. Okay, so I still haven't unlocked the secrets of this puzzle. So what are these digits? 5, 7, or 9? Well, that can't be a 5 because those are the same digit, because this is the one, this is a segment of the line broken by a box border. If I mark it in purple, this is a segment of the line broken by the box borders, and this segment sums to the same, but those are the same digit. So because of that, if this was a 5, this would be a 5, and it can't be. So this is a 7 or a 9. And the 9 is telling me that that's a 7. So this is a 7, and these are high digits, and these have to sum to 7. If they're ones, well, there's no 7 in those. And the 9 is looking across, making that the 5 and that the 9, which is the high digit. So we know what this is. That's the 6 that hasn't been placed in the row, which makes this the 5. And now these have to sum to 4 in order to make this sum work, which means they're 1 and 3, because there's no way I can use 2 and 2. The 2 makes that the 1 and that the 2. This is beautiful. This is a 7, 8, which is a high digit. But these have to sum to 7. No, that has to be a low digit. is the way to look at it. Because if it was a high digit, the only possibility it would have, considering it sees 7, 8, and 9, would be a 6. And if this is a 6, the only digit that is 5 away from 6 is 1. That would have to be a 1, and it can't be. So this is low, which means this is low, this is high, this is high. As a high digit, this one is 8 or 9. This one is 6, 8, or 9. Sorry. 6, 8, or 9, but it can't be a 6 because if this is a 6, both of those would need to be a 1. This is an 8, 9 pair. This is cool. This is 1 or 3 because it sees 2 and 4. And that one can't be a 4 either because then both of those would need to be a 9. So this is 1, 2, 3. These have to sum to 7 now. I could use 1, 6. It would have to go 1 and 6. I could use 2, 5. It would have to go 2 and 5. Can I use 3, 4? No, I can't because, oh, maybe I could with 4 and 3. Yeah, maybe I can do 4 and 3 in that order. But these are now low digits, and that's going to do some forcing because if these were high digits, they'd both need to be 6, and that is impossible for various reasons. So these are low digits, which means these are high digits. So these are 2 and 4, and I can't put 4 here without making both of those 9. That's the 2, that's the 4, which makes that the 9. This has to be 7 or 8 because 6 is too close. The 4 looks up saying this isn't the 4, so this isn't the 3. This is now 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This is a 1, 2, 3 triple. So where's 4 in this box? It's absolutely there. And this is a 5 or a 6. And the 6 already in the row makes it the 5, making this the 6 and this the 1, which makes this the 3, this the 2, which looks across making that the 1 and that the 2. This is great. 6 is a high digit. Okay. This is known. That's just the 5. Which means this is the 6, the high digit, and this is the 5. And let's just look at these. I haven't put a 1 or a 6 in this row. A column. This is a column. The vertical things are columns. And these are 3, 7, and 8. There's no 3 there, so that is the high 7, 8. This is the 3, which is the low digit. 5 is in one of those two. This is only 1, 2, or 3 because it's a low digit in this row that can't be a 4, but it also sees a 3. So this is only a 1 or a 2. So I know what these are? No, they're 3, 7, 8 because they're what's not placed in the row. Could that be a 6? Both of those would need to be 1. Don't know yet, actually. Okay. It's possible I'm going to need to use the colouring to disambiguate what can be what. So I'm going to get rid of my high-low cut. Whoops. No. I'm going to go to colour mode and delete because all of the digits are kind of pencil marked high-low at this point. So the high-low colouring isn't helping me. What's this triple? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. And the 4, 5 is looking up, making that the 7. So there's no 7 here. The 7 is looking down, taking 7 out of both of those. Okay. 2 in this column is restricted. I can't put 2 there. These can't be 2 because of reasons. Why can't that be a 2? Because of the 1, 2 pair. This can't be a 2 because it's a high digit. There's no 2 in any of those. So 2 is in one of those two and that 2 says not there. This is the 2. So these are restricted. 3, 6, 8, and 9. Huh. So this is 6, 8, or 9 only. It's not an 8. This is only a 6 or a 9. There has to be a 4 in one of those two. Which doesn't seem to be helping me as much as I might like. There's a 1 in one of those two with an 8 or a 9. So this is 1, 8. Okay. 3, 3, 6, 8, and 9 are what's missing here. And this can't be a 3 or a 9. So this is a 6 or an 8. What have I missed? Seems to be a tricky Sudoku end, maybe? I think I can possibly disprove. If this is a 6, these are both 1, which means those are both 2. What happens if these are both 1, I suppose is the question, because these both become the same digit, and this would be the yellow digit. So yellow would be 1. This would be 1. That's not necessarily disproved. 1 would be here. And that seems okay. The thing under most pressure is if this is 6, these are both 1. That would be a 1, that would be a 1. And that would be a 1. None of the other lines seem to be forcing. 3 is in one of those two. I'm a little perplexed. This is the only digits I'm seeing that are forced are the 1s and 2s, but I'm not seeing how that resolves. I can see that 2 is in one of those two. If these are both 1, if these are both 1, that's a 2, that's a 2, and that's a 2. And that's okay. I'm quite perplexed here. I mean, 3, 6, 8, 9, and it doesn't seem to be restricted by row or column. If this is 6, these are both 1. Right, if this is a 6, these are both 1. Right, look at this. If this is a 6, these are both 1, which makes that 2, that 1, and that has no fill. This has to be an 8. So if this is a 6, we go 1, 1, 2, 1, and we've got 6, 1, and that cell breaks. That's a bit of a chain, but that is an 8. I knew it had to be there. That was the thing that is under the most pressure, which means that's 7 and that's 8. Now, the 8 here doesn't actually reduce much. So this isn't 3 or 8 because the 8 reduced this down. There's no 3 or 8 here. This is a 7. This isn't the 3. This is the 3. 8 doesn't resolve this in one way or the other. But the 7 makes that the 8 and that the 7. And now 8 is in one of those two. Okay. Six is definitely in one of those two. This is 1 or 9 only because it sees an 8. So these are all 1, 4, 5, 9. So this is 1, 5, 9. And this is 1, 4, 9. With 4 being in one of those two. beautiful opening. And even though I've been playing with a lot of classic at the with the stuff I've been creating, the 2 is looking down. That was probably, was that there all the way along through that? Yep, that was there all the way along through that. But still, it would have only told me that that was a 1, which was the least restrictive thing. Making that the 2, that the 1, that the 2, which makes that the 6, and that would have done it. It was just Sudoku. Okay, BremSter's a numpty. This isn't news. So these are the 9 looks across, making that the 5, which makes that the 2, which makes that the 1. BremSter's a numpty. Not news. This is 4, 6, or 9, and it's not a 9. So these are 4, 6, and 9. The 5 looks up, making that the 4 and that the 5. The 4 looks down, making that the 9, which make... What? Push the wrong button there. 9, which makes that the 6, which makes that the 4. The 6 looks up, making that the 9, which makes that the 8 and that the 9. Beautiful puzzle. BremSter just can't scan. This is not news. The 9 looks up, making that the 1, which makes that the 8, and that is the... Prats, I hope you enjoyed. I very much enjoyed. I possibly would have enjoyed it more if I'd noticed, if I'd scanned correctly. But that's okay, because the 2 looking down would have made this the 1, which would have resolved the 1, 2 pairs and made the 1, would have made that the 6, which would have forced that to be the 8, and then the whole thing would have flowed. And I wouldn't have need to have found that terrible chain, which is the way I solved it, which I didn't need to do. The puzzle was better than that. BremSter wasn't. I'm sure there'll be comments, because that happens. But the puzzle was amazing. I loved the interaction of these whisper lines with the sum lines. Really cool stuff. Really nice puzzle. Thank you, Nicolas. That was great. Loved it. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed this half as much as I did, because then you would have enjoyed it a lot. And as always, good luck with your solving.